So we just saw the release of the latest trailer for Percy Jackson and the Olympians, which debuts in about a month's time. And I think it's safe to say, simply from the response to the trailer, with 3.2 million views on the official Disney Plus YouTube channel as of writing this, currently trending on social media, and over 70,000 likes and thousands of positive comments talking about how excited they are, how happy they are that this seems to be a much more faithful adaptation, and that they think it's going to be the next big thing, it really does look like this show is going to pop off. And I'm really optimistic about it. And at the very least, I think it's going to end up being far, far better than the original film adaptations were. Although, could you imagine if this ends up being terrible? I mean, I don't want it to happen, but I have to admit the salt would be legendary. Truly god-tier fandom meltdown. But yeah, simply from the trailers alone, I think we can all rest easy knowing that the worst case scenario is not going to come to pass. But yeah, a new trailer's out now, and so today we're going to work our way through it and see what we think. So let's get into it, shall we? So we start off the trailer, once again at the Met, but this time with young Percy and his mum. And yeah, it's a pretty nothing scene, let's be honest. It's just there to really introduce the idea of Percy being some great saviour, and also to set up his bond with his mum and her belief in him. Although I gotta say, in every scene throughout the trailer where she spoke, I was not really wowed by the performance of the mum. Like, I don't want to be a hater or trash on somebody too hard, but I felt like the performance has really come across as wooden from the excerpts we've been getting so far. She just doesn't seem to be very good. I mean, it's weird to say, but I think she really actually gets outshone in the trailer by the child acting. And child acting is usually of a lesser quality than an adult, and so that's doubly bad. But at the same time, I also think the writing has done her no favours here. She doesn't feel like a mother trying to explain things to her son, trying to get across to her son that he has to run away or do all these kind of different things. It doesn't feel like that in the words that she's saying, like a proper human interaction. It very much either feels like she's a teacher explaining something to a preschool student, still kind at all but not maternal, or doing a dramatic reading of a script in high school. And I don't feel it. And that's very disappointing, honestly, because that's the bond that's supposed to drive most of Percy's actions in the show, in this first season. He's trying to clear his name and save his mum. But yeah, I'm worried they're not going to be able to get that bond across properly on screen. And it's going to slightly impact my enjoyment. Not too much, but enough that it is bothersome. Although, side note, I gotta say the younger Percy actor, my god, what a cute boy. Also, I feel like very good casting there, or just good design choices, maybe a wig or something, in that he looks so much like the kid playing the actual Percy. It really makes the character look and feel like it's the same person in two different points of his life. And then we get into the trailer properly, and we actually get a look at some of the acting from the kids, at last. We get to hear their voices properly, how they deliver the dialogue, all that sort of stuff. Because that was a complaint I had for earlier trailers and teasers, that they weren't showing off that side of things. Which in turn made me wonder whether the kids were actually just trash and they were trying to hide it until it was too late. But honestly, I'm pretty pleasantly surprised. Like, child acting, it's always a bit hit or miss, but I think the kids, so far, have done a pretty good job of things and have really captured the essence of the characters, especially Percy. And that's good, because really, that's who we're hearing most from in the trailer, and he's the most important character in the show. Above all, he needed to be good. And I feel like he very much encapsulates the quirky, confused, and sort of cheeky/witty vibes that Percy gives off. Like in the scene where he tries out archery to see if perhaps that's linked to his godly parent, and he fails so hard that everybody's scared for their safety. Or the ending clip where he ponders whether he'll even need a sword for the capture the flag match. And of course, it's intercut with another scene that's obviously set later on, but still we cut back to his rather quippy and humorous realization that he will indeed need a sword. But yeah, back to the trailer, right? So next up after that introductory stuff, we see Percy and Grover getting bullied by, I think this is supposed to be Nancy. Anyway, did she toss a slice of cheese at them? And then we see a few clips about how Percy's struggling and all of that, how he doesn't fit in, shows off his dyslexia. And yeah, when you combine that with his abusive upbringing by his stepdad, I feel like Percy's going to skyrocket into the #1 most popular character in this show, and it won't even be close. It will not be close. He'll be so relatable and so sympathetic. And I think whilst he was obviously still the most popular character in the book, because he's the title character, I don't think that really comes across quite as strong just on the written word. Don't get me wrong, it still comes across, but reading his thoughts about the stuff, especially when it's lightened up by his goofy thought processes, compared to actually seeing it play out with facial expressions and whatnot, I think that'll be a big shift. Also, I wonder if they're going to do much narration by Percy to get across his thoughts like in the book. Is this opening dialogue stuff just specifically for the trailer? Or will it appear in the show as well? Kind of curious to see how it would work if they did include it. I mean, mean, it could be very hokey, but it could also be pretty awesome. I'm not sure if they want to take that risk though. It feels like it might just be a trailer exclusive. Next up, is this Blackjack? Like, I'm pretty sure that he doesn't officially debut until Sea of Monsters, right? So that would be in season 2? But yeah, looks like they're maybe going to have him appear sometimes in the background before that, as if Poseidon sends him to check up on Percy every so often. Which, well, I guess it slightly presents Poseidon as a bit of a better father than he was, but still, let's be real, he's deadbeat trash. Like all the rest of them. I doubt it's going to happen, but I would love Percy to not be quite as nice to his dad, so eager for his approval. I mean, yeah, he's a god and all, but screw this guy. Anyway, moving on. We have a scene where Percy gets the Riptide pen sword, whilst we get a little bit more wooden dialogue from Sally, as a few different villains flash across the screen. We see Ares, who still looks, honestly, a little lame to me, but we'll see. We see the back of Medusa's head, and then we see a shot of Cerberus jumping out of some mist towards Percy, and I kind of wish that they saved that for the show, because that feels primed for a glorious jump scare moment. Oh well. And I gotta say, I really like that they stayed faithful to the book design. The description of Cerberus being a 3-headed giant Rottweiler. It's such a unique design choice as far as 3-headed dogs go, but also one that really just fits with the vibe of the Olympians becoming Americanized. I feel like the Rottweiler's just such an iconic guard dog in American media at this point, and so it fits very well. 5 stars. Also, when you slow it down, you can even see the drool and stuff flying out from his droopy, jowly face. God damn, what is the budget we're dealing with here? It's looking so damn good. I said a big selling point of this would be needing to have the monsters looking very good, as in not looking like shit CGI. And in my eyes, they are delivering on the promise right now. We then get another look at Camp Half-Blood in the cabins, and Percy getting picked on, probably by Clarice in the Ares cabin, if I had to guess. Poor dude. Finally gets somewhere that he supposedly belongs, only to get bullied again. And then we get some more footage of the Minotaur attack where they're trying to get to Camp Half-Blood. And Minotaur looks good. He's even wearing the white underwear as described. And when he's standing on his hind legs at the end of the trailer, he's looking like a badass. Oh, the rain, he's looking so cool. But I just don't like him running on all fours. To me, it is far scarier if he's running at you with that height. It makes him feel like a much bigger threat, like an actual monster, as opposed to a big cow charging the car. Why would he run on all fours if he has hands and not hooves? I mean, it's a minor thing, but still, come on. We then have more shots of Camp Half-Blood and Ares' cabin fighting Percy and capture the flag. Were they that vicious in the book? Here they look like they are trying to legitimately kill him. Also, put your helmet back on, son. We then get a look at the Master Bolt, which looks pretty basic, but that's okay. And then we get a look at Poseidon. And I'm not feeling it, I'll be honest. When I read the book, I got the vibe of him looking like a handsome surfer man or a wild, free spirit type of guy. This guy looks like a Wall Street executive on a holiday at Disney World who wants to go back to the hotel to check in on his staff and is annoyed that his kid wants to spend time with him at all. Like, look at that expression.
Boy.
Chiron then explains to the new fans what the plot of the show is and raises the stakes. That there's going to be war between the gods if the Master Bolt is not returned. And yeah, it's a smart thing to put in the trailer. Let the casuals know what the plot is going to be about. Draw them in. We then see Clarice with her gifted spear from Ares. Looks pretty cool. Cooler than her dad's actual sword, if we're being honest. Another villain, can't really remember this part from the book, appears. A Slender Man looking freak in the misty woods confronting the trio, looking creepy as hell. Yeah. Excellent. We then see Mr. D and Chiron, a bunch of the Half-Bloods, standing around a fire pit, kind of awkwardly spread out. Like, who stands like that in real life except on TV? Also, Mr. D feels like perfect casting, perfect design. Love it.
Huge fan. Love it. Love you. Gotta go. Thank you.
We then see Annabeth's invisibility cap, the Tunnel of Love, really emphasizing the tunnel. So I'm guessing they're going to be pushing the romance storyline a whole lot more, because in the book, they sort of do a crush angle with Annabeth towards Luke. And that makes sense. Luke's meant to be kind of handsome, he's older, but then at some random point in the books, they instantly backtrack and say, oh, she always saw him like a brother, and have him wonder if they could have been together at some point, even though he was like way older, wasn't he? At least that's how I remember it. I remember it being really weird, not one of Rick's best attempts if we're being real. So I think best to just give that the snippy snip and mostly just focus on Percy and Annabeth. Just makes more sense to trim that awkward shit right out of there. We then see some fighting on a train, the demigods in the Lotus Casino with Hermes for some reason.
Major Tom?
Don't remember him being there in the book, so I guess they wanted to introduce him early. Yeah, it makes sense. Maybe he helps them escape the casino, because let's be real, right? When I reread the book, it felt a bit convenient that Percy just so happened to grow so deeply suspicious about some guy using non-period appropriate slang, and so he instantly just assumes, oh, something magical's afoot here. And honestly, I'm wondering, are they going to introduce most of the gods and have them interact with the heroes? Might honestly make sense, at least for the major gods. Mr. D at the camp, obviously, Poseidon at the end with Zeus, Hades in the underworld, probably have Athena on Olympus, maybe. I mean, maybe you want to have her interact with Annabeth, who knows? You'd have Ares appear, of course, as in canon. Hermes is there at the casino. You'd probably also have Hera at Olympus, although maybe having her turn up to try to mess with the heroes would be fun too. Demeter, honestly, who cares about her? Aphrodite might be fun to have her try to turn up and ship the heroes. Maybe she's at the diner with Ares the first time they meet. Who knows? And maybe Hephaestus in the tunnel would be funny. He catches Annabeth and Percy in the net thinking it's going to be Ares and Aphrodite so he can embarrass them live on TV and in person, only to be very disappointed. I think that would be very funny. And that's just a couple of ideas I've had. We then move on to the fight with Ares, which, I don't know, man, doesn't look that epic to me. Felt more epic in the book, and the background feels off? I don't know. Feels like they've literally been green screened in very obviously to me. Just feels off somehow. We then see the Minotaur again. He's looking very cool. Once again, I wish he'd run upright. But maybe that's just a me thing. And then we finish off with, is this the Chimera? Nice. Really underrated fight in the series, honestly. It's a big moment where Percy gets his ass whooped good and proper, and it ups the stakes, make things more risky. And I gotta say, the CGI for this thing is looking good. And yeah, that's the trailer. Hell yeah, I'm super hyped. I love it, I love it, I love it. That's what I'm talking about. That's what we needed. That's what they had to do. I really think this is going to blow up. Each trailer trends more and more and more on social media, so I do think the hype is building, even amongst the casuals. So, God, I hope it's good. Rick, don't fail me now. And so there's not really much else to say, other than these have been my opinions, and now I'd like to hear yours. What did you think of the trailer? You like it, hate it? I'm curious for your thoughts, so make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know.